Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines and the pride of Malayan race, was born on June 19, 1861 in a town of Calamba, Laguna. He was the seventh child in a family of 11 children, 2 boys and 9 girls. Both his parents were educated and belonged to distinguished families.
The Rizal family was a respected and considered one of the richest families in Calamba during their time. The name Rizal, the original surname of the Rizal family, was Mercado.
Rizals, like a typical Filipino, was a product of mixed ancestry. It can be inferred that his veins flowed the blood of both East and West Chinese, Japanese, Malayan, Spanish.
Rizal's father was a great-grandson of Lamco, a Chinese immigrant from China of the 17th century.
In the some historical pieces of dominant Rizal maternal ancestor was Lakandula, the last king of Tondo.
Mercado Rizal, 1818 to 1898. The hero's father was born in Binan, Laguna on April 18, 1818.
He studied in San Jose College, Manila.
Theodora Alonso, 1826-1911. Rizal's mother was born in Manila on November 8, 1826, a woman of remarkable talent in mathematics, business, and literature. Saturnina Rizal, 1850-1913, the first child.
Rizal, born on 1851, dead on 1930. Only brother of Rizal, Jose Rizal, and a second child, became a farmer and later a general of the Philippines Revolution. Narcisa Rizal, born on 1852, was dead in 1939. The third child, a teacher and a musician.
Rizal, the fourth child, dead in 1887 from childbirth. Rosia Rizal, 1857 to 1990, the fifth child. Maria Rizal, 1859-1945, the sixth child.
Jose Rizal, June 19, 1861, December 13, 1896, the national hero of the Philippines, the second son and the seventh child.
John Rizal, 1862 to 1865, the eighth child, died at the age of 3. Josefa Rizal, 1865 to 1945, the ninth child, an epileptic, died as spinster. Trinidad Rizal, 1868 to 1951, the 10th child, died a spinster, at the last of the family to die. Soledad Rizal, 1870 to 1929, the 11th child.
Them got married except Josefa and Trinidad, who were spinsters, and Concepcion, who died at the age of 3.
Childhood memories in Calamba. His birthplace was a ideal place of artists, poets, budding writers, and lovers of art who traveled from Manila
And other places to gain inspiration of helpful waters and climate and scenic panorama that surrounds the legendary Mount Makiling.
This is Calamba. A perfect to nurture is a growing child that the holds of promise, that eventually became cradle of a genius.
Early schooling. At the tender age of 3, Rizal learned the alphabet from his mother. Her mother was a strict and a patient teacher.
At the age of 9, Don Francisco sent his son to Biñan to continue study of under Latin maestro, Joaquin Aquino Cruz. Rizal left Biñan on December 7, 1871. After his staying there for 1.5 years, in the town he learned painting in the shop of an old painter named Juancho.
Jose, accompanied by his brother Pasiano, the 11-year-old boy from Calamba, went to Manila on June 10, 1872 to take the entrance exam and enrolled in Ateneo Municipal Manila,
At is now Ateneo de Manila University.
a college under the supervision of Spanish Jesuits.
Time, Jose studied in the Ateneo. This educational institution was located in Intramuros within the walls of Old Manila.
Rizal started medical studies at Santo Tomas Rizal, enrolled in University of Santo Tomas, taking the first course of philosophy in June 1877. Even if he was now at Santo Tomas, he still frequented the Ateneo because there he was the president of Literary Academy.
Impelled by his desire to learn to perfect himself and become more useful to his people, Rizal left home and country and went to Europe in order to educate himself.
Secret departure, Rizal's departure for Spain was kept utmost secrecy. Even his parents and sisters were not informed about it until his ship has left its anchor. He left Calamba by Carumata in the early morning of May 1, 1882, and reached Manila after 10 hours of travel. His travel passport, issued in the name of Jose Mercado, was ready. He carried with him good recommendation from the Ateneo authorities to the Jesuit brothers in Barcelona.
Rizal traveled abroad. Rizal was almost 21 years old on the day he left. Tears welled from his eyes and as the Salvadora sailed farther away from Manila, he wrote in his diary, "My country, my love, my people, I leave you now. You disappear, I lose sight of you."
On 12, 1882, the ship docked at the French harbor of Marseilles. He took the train for Barcelona, arriving there on June 16, 1882. In Barcelona, Barcelona is a city of Catalina, Spain's second largest city. While in Barcelona, he met some of his schoolmates at the Ateneo who gave him a warm welcome.
Rizal in Madrid. In September 1882, Rizal transferred to the Spanish capital in order to continue his medical studies to the famous Universidad Central de Madrid. Rizal completed his studies in philosophy and letters on June 19, 1885, during his 24th birthday.
Touring Europe with Dr. Beulah, Rizal and Dr. Beulah left the city on May 11, 1887. They toured several cities in Europe. They first visited Potsdam, then Dresden, Dresden, Meerut, Bohemia, Prague, Vienna, Linz, Munich, Geneva, and Rome.
Back to Calamba, after almost 5 years of memorable temporary stay in Europe, he left Rome by train headed for Marseilles on July 3, 1887. He boarded Gemna, the same ship that brought him to Europe 5 years ago. Rizal reached Manila on August 6, 1887. Second travel of Rizal abroad. Rizal in Hong Kong, Japan, and America. Rizal was forced to go to abroad for the second time and to part from his family and friends in February 1888. He sailed for Hong Kong and sojourned there for 2 weeks. He also visited Macau accompanied by Basa. While in Macau, Rizal visited cathedrals and churches, pagodas, temples, shrines, theaters, botanical garden, and bazaars. Rizal in Japan. Rizal arrived at Yokohama on February 28, 1888 and stayed at Grand Hotel. Rizal in America. The ship with Rizal on board docked at San Francisco port, but because of a strict quarantine, he and other first-class passengers were not allowed to disembark until May 4, 1888. On May 16, 1888, he left America for Liverpool, England. He arrived at Liverpool on May 24 and next day he began his life in London. He lived there from May 1888 to March 1889 to copy, study, and made the notion of Dr. Antonio D. Morga's success de las Islas Filipinas, events in the Philippine Islands. Third travel from the Pitan, Mindanao to Spain and back to the Philippines. The arrest and deportation of Rizal. Life in the Pitan. At first, he lived in the residence of Don Ricardo Carnicero, captain of the infantry and politico-military governor of the Pitan. While exiled in the Pitan, Rizal built his own house, planted many fruit-bearing trees, and practices his medical profession. Josephine Bracken in the Pitan. One of the most significant events worth remembering in connection to Rizal's life in the Pitan was the coming of Miss Josephine Bracken. Rizal to Cuba. At the suggestion of his friend Blumentritt, Dr. Rizal volunteered his services as a physician attached to the Spanish Medical Corps in Cuba. His application was accepted after more than 6 months, and he had to leave the Pitan for Manila. August 31, 1896, his ship sailed for Spain on his way to Cuba. On September 30, 1896, Rizal left for Spain on board the steamer Isla de Panay, while the revolution had begun in the nearby provinces around Manila and other parts of Luzon. While the ship was cruising the Mediterranean Sea, the captain of the ship received a telegraph order from the Minister of the War to arrest and confine him in his cabin. When the ship arrived at Barcelona on October 6, 1896, he was transferred to Montjuic Castle. A few hours later, General Despujol informed Rizal that he would be sent back to Manila on board the SS Colon.
Segunda Katigbak was her puppy love. Unfortunately, his first love was engaged to be married to a townmate, Manuel Luz, after his admiration for a short girl in the person of Segunda. Leonor Valenzuela, a tall girl from Pagsanhan. Rizal sent her love notes written in invisible ink that could only be deciphered over the warmth of the lamp or candle. He visited her on the eve of his departure to Spain and bade her a last goodbye. Leonor Rivera, his sweetheart for 11 years, played the greatest influence in keeping him from falling in love with other women during his travel. Unfortunately, Leonor's mother disapproved of her daughter's relationship with Rizal, who was then a known filibustero. Consuelo Ortiga, the prettier of Don Pablo Ortiga's daughters, fell in love with him. He dedicated to her a La Señorita Coyr, which became one of his best poems. The Ortigas' residence in Madrid was frequented by Rizal and his compatriots. He probably fell in love with her, and Consuelo apparently asked him for romantic verses. Osi-san, a Japanese samurai's daughter, taught Rizal the Japanese art of paintings, known as sumi. She also helped Rizal improve his knowledge of Japanese language. If Rizal was a man without a patriotic mission, he would have married this lovely and intelligent woman and lived a stable and happy life with her in Japan. Gertrude Biquet. While Rizal was in London annotating the Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, he boarded in the house of the Biquet family, within walking distance of the British Museum. Gertrude, a blue-eyed and buxom girl, was the oldest of the 3 Biquet daughters. She fell in love with Rizal. Nellie boasted. Rizal, having lost Leonor Rivera, entertained the thought of courting other ladies. While a guest of the boasted family at their residence in the resort of Biarritz, he had befriended the 2 pretty daughters of his host. Eduardo boasted. Rizal used to feast with the sisters at the studio of Juan Lona. Susan Jacobi. In 1890, Rizal moved to Brussels because of the high cost of living in Paris. In Brussels, he lived in the boarding house of the 2 Jacobi sisters. In time, they fall deeply in love with each other. Susan cried when Rizal left Brussels and wrote him when he was in Madrid. Josephine Bracken. In the last days of February 1895, while still in the Pitan, Rizal met an 18-year-old petite Irish girl, with bold blue eyes, brown hair, and a happy disposition. She was Josephine Bracken, the adopted daughters of George Stauffer from Hong Kong, who came to the Pitan to seek Rizal for eye treatment.
Friends Associate of Rizal. First is Marcelo H. del Pilar. Second, Mariano Ponce. Third, Maximo Viola. Fourth, Galicano Apacible. Fifth, Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt. Sixth, Graciano Lopez Haina. Seventh, Wenceslao Latana. The two most famous novels, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. As leaders of the reform movement of Filipino students in Spain, he contributed essays, allegories, poems, and editorials to the Spanish newspaper La Solidaridad in Barcelona. In this case, Rizal used a pen name Di Masala. Noli Me Tangere. The young and idealistic Juan Crisostomo Ibarra returns home after 7 years in Europe. The wealthy mestizo, like his father Don Rafael, endeavors for reform primarily in the area of education in order to eliminate poverty and improve the lives of his countrymen. Upon learning about his father's demise and the denial of a Catholic burial for his father's, Ibarra was provoked to hit Padre Damaso, which eventually led to his excommunication. The excommunication was later rescinded upon the intervention of the Governor General. Meanwhile, Ibarra was able to escape the prison with Elias, who also experienced injustice with the authorities. Ibarra was able to speak with Maria Clara about the letter and thereafter forgive her. Ibarra and Elias fled to the lake and were chased by the guardians civil. One was shot and the other survived. Upon hearing the news, Maria Clara believed that Ibarra was dead. She entered the nunnery instead of marrying Alfonso Linares. The fatality wounded Elias found the child Basilio and his dead mother Sisa. The latter was driven to insanity when she learned that her children were implicated for theft by the sacristan mayor. Elias instructed Basilio to dig for his and Sisa's graves, and there is a buried treasure which he can use for his education. Noli Me Tangere brilliantly described Philippine society with its memorable characters. The melancholic fate of Maria Clara and the insanity of Sisa characterized the country's pitiful state, which was once beautiful turned miserable. Reading Noli Me Tangere will open one's mind about oppression and tyranny. El Filibusterismo. Simeon, wealthy and mysterious, is a close friend of the Spanish Governor General. He was nicknamed Brown Cardinal and Black Eminence because of his influence in Malacanang. By using his political influence and wealth, he encourages corruption in the government and hastens the moral degradation of the country so that the people may become desperate and fight. He smuggles ammunition into the country with the help of a rich Chinese merchant, Quiroga, who wants very much to be Chinese consuls of Manila. Simeon's initial attempt to start the uprising did not push through because at the last hour he heard that sad news that Maria Clara died in the convent. In his organizing moment of bewilderment, he did not give the signal for the attack. After his illness brought about by the death of Maria Clara, Simeon fine-tunes his plan to overthrow the government on the occasion of the wedding of Paulita Gomez and Juanito Pilaes. He gives a wedding gift to them, a beautiful lamp, only he had a confidential associate, Basilio Sisa's son, who joined the revolutionary cause, known that when the wick of his lamp burns lower, the nitroglycerine hidden in a secret compartment of the lamp will explode. Thus, all the guests where the wedding feast is being held will be killed, including the Governor General, the friars, and the government official. At the same time, Simeon's
followers will attack the government building in Manila. As the wedding feast begins, Isagani, who has been rejected by Paulita because of his liberal ideas, is standing outside the house, sadly watching the mermaid. Inside, Basilio chances upon Isagani and warns him to go away because of the lighted lamp will soon explode. Upon learning the secret of the lamp, Isagani realized that her former girlfriend Paulita was in grave danger. He rushes into the house to save her life. He steals the lamp and hurls it into the river where it explodes. The revolutionary plot was thus discovered. Padre Salve, Ibarra's mortal enemy, accused Ibarra of insurrection. Ibarra's letter to his beloved Maria Clara was used against him later in the story. Maria Clara will tell Ibarra that she did not conspire to indict him. She was compelled to give Ibarra's letter in exchange for the letters of her mother before she was born. Maria Clara found out that the letter of her mother were addressed to Padre Damaso about his unborn child, which means that she is the biological daughter of the priest and not of her father, Capitan Tiago. On Recuerdo A.M. Pueblo, in memory of my town, sa aking mga kabata, my first inspiration, La Juventud Filipina, to the Filipino youth, El Consejo de los Dioses, the Council of God, along the Pasig, a drama, Amor Patria, Love of Country, Los Viayas, Travels, Mi Piden Versos, they asked me for verses. Alas Flores de Heidelberg, to the flower of Heidelberg, La Lega Filipina, Philippine League. The right of man, ang karapatan ng mga tao. Me Ultimo Adios, the last poem of Jose Rizal. The execution of Dr. Jose Rizal.